Welcome back to another video. So I'm going to do something a little bit different today. Very similar, putting full cover tips on using a builder gel, but I'm going to be using the tips kind of like a dual form. I'm going to be popping the tips off. It wasn't a success, it wasn't a fail, I'd kind of say somewhere in the middle. So I'm just cleaning my nails with a bit of alcohol, getting any dirt and oils and stuff off. I've already prepped my nails. I always prep my nails when I take my previous set off, but I'm just quickly showing you there. You need to push your cuticles back and use the scraper to get rid of any dead skin. But yeah, mine's already done. So now I'm just going to buff off all the shiny surface, get all that shiny surface off. Don't buff too hard. You just want to scratch up that shiny surface and get it so it's looking kind of chalky. Yeah, kind of chalky looking. So get rid of all that dust, use a nail brush and get rid of all that dust. So you will need to use a dehydrator and some sort of primer or bond. I'm not using them because I want to be able to pop my nails off. So I'm using my Born Pretty peelable base coat. So you would just use your normal base coat that you normally use. And I'm going to do 2 coats of this and I'm going to cure each layer in between for 30 seconds. Now, I didn't record or do an update the last time I used this Born Pretty peel off because I couldn't get them off because they peeled off at the cuticle area, but where the builder gel went under my natural nails underneath, so it kind of stuck to the very tips of my nails. So I couldn't give you an update on that, but it does work. It does work. So these are the tips I'm using. I used ballerina last time, so I'm using coffin today. These are just size long coffin. I got these off Amazon. That's what I'm going to be using, and I'm using my GELLEN builder in a tube. It turned out to be a bit too runny for this kind of method today, but I'll show you more about that. I'll tell you more about that later in the video. Now normally I would buff and etch up the inside of this tip, but because I'm going to be popping these tips off like a dual form, I'm not etching or buffing the inside. I'm leaving it completely smooth. So what I've done with these tips is I've gone one size up to what I normally do, and I'm putting a little bit more product in, because you've got to remember I'm going to be popping these tips off and it's going to be leaving behind a gel nail. So you've got to think about how thick you would need that gel nail to be. So you would put a bit more product in than what you normally would do if you're leaving these tips on. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to gently place that onto my pinky. This gel was really runny today. I'll tell you more about that later, but my room was really hot. So just place it on gently, make sure there's no air bubbles. And can you see that product underneath is trying to drip under my natural nail? And that is why the peel off didn't work last time, because it was stuck under my natural nail. So I've just give that half a cure. And then I'm going to pop this plastic tip off and then I'll put it back in the lamp and give it a full cure. Yeah, just half a cure so it's kind of still soft, kind of pliable. And look, it just popped straight off. Woohoo! This is the first time I've used this colour out of my GELLEN builder in a tubes, and I absolutely love it. It's a really, really nice colour. So I'm going to get another one done. I'll show you doing another one, and I didn't realise at this point, I couldn't see it, how skinny that free edge was on that pinky. I'll tell you more about that later in the video. So again, I'm just filling this tip up. Thickest part should be the middle. Try and keep it thin at the cuticle and thin at the tip, and just use the nozzle like you would do with the brush. And yeah, you definitely need to put more product in the tip when you're doing it this way. When I'm leaving the tip on, you really don't need that much product, do you? So I just use these full cover tips like I would do a dual form, but all the shaping and everything's already done for you. I really, really like it. But this gel was so runny. So I've placed that on and I'm just using a clean up brush just to get any bits that might have leaked out. And again, I'm going to give that for a half a cure for 30 seconds and get that popped off. I just squeeze down the sides and it just loosens it a little bit. And then just use a cuticle scraper or something just to get up the side of that tip. Try not to dig it into the nail itself. Try and just get the plastic bit. Right, I've paused it because, can you see these little flaps hanging over the side? That is because the gel was quite runny. It's kind of sunk into the middle of the nail tip. That is how wide the nail tip should have been. So the nails have ended up being quite skinny because it was so runny. It's kind of sunk back into the middle of the nail tip. So I think if you was to do this, I would use a thicker gel, maybe that doesn't self-level, or a poly gel. But yeah, can you see where I'm putting it? Right up the sides of that tip. Because it's so runny, it's kind of dripping back into the middle, and it's not staying right up them sidewalls. So the tip ended up being a lot skinnier towards the free edge than what it should have been. So next time I do this, I think I'll use a thicker gel that doesn't self-level, or a poly gel would be brilliant for this. So they did turn out very skinny mini. But I really liked them. They were still wearable. And I think it's a really quick, easy way to get a nice shaped nail without having to leave that tip on. Because they can get a little bit bulky with them tips on. Especially for beginners like me. So I'll just show you doing this last one, and I'll do the other two off camera because I'm just having them all plain. Yeah, this gel was so runny today, guys. So I'll just show you popping that one off. Why do I keep doing that? Off? Not doing that no more. I was so shocked at how easy they popped off. I thought I was going to struggle. Yeah, can you see again there? There's a little flap kind of at each side where the gel should have been, but it's kind of dripped away from the edges. So yeah, that's the shape it should have been. But I use a file later in the video and just file them little bits off. It weren't a problem. They just ended up being very skinny. Just quickly showing you there with my thumb, I had to flatten it a bit because the apex was so high on the thumb, it just didn't fit. And this is the size 0. So just by flattening it a little bit like that, it just made it fit a lot better. And the apex wasn't as high. Yeah, I really struggled to find full cover tips that fit my thumb. But yeah, just by flattening that a little bit, it just gave me an extra millimetre at each side. So that is them all on, guys. I'm just going to get all the tacky layer off on the top and underneath. And then I'm just going to file them little flappy bits over the side. And I'm going to file around the cuticle area because you get a little bit of a lip around the cuticle area, don't you? And I like to just blend that in. And then once I've done all the filing, I'm going to get a buffer and buff off all the shiny surface on all of the nails. So now I'm just filing a few mil off the tips because you could see the number. Yeah, it left the number imprinted in the tips of the nails. So I'm just filing a few mil off the tips to get rid of that number. Right guys, so that's them all filed and all buffed. I'm just cleaning them off again with some alcohol and a little stiff nail brush. I mean, they turned out really neat, really tidy. I've got a full set of gel nails without the tips. And a tiny teeny bubble there. Yeah, can you see how quite skinny they are towards the tip? They shouldn't be that skinny. But I liked them, like I said. Right, this is me debating whether to file them down. I think they would look nice, that shape, that length. Can you see? I'm still sat with them on actually. I've not filed them down. But I think these would look really nice filed down into like a short coffin, short square. But yeah, I really like them. Anyway guys, I'm just going to give them a quick top coat for today because I haven't got time to decorate them. I'll do something with them in my next video. So I'm going to give these a quick top coat, cure them in the lamp for 30 seconds, and that'll be them finished. There we go, guys. That's them finished. I love that colour. I really, really love that colour. I'm not so sure about the shape. They are very skinny towards that free edge, aren't they? But yeah, I don't mind things going wrong as long as I know how and why it went wrong and I can fix it next time. And I know exactly why it went wrong. The gel was a little bit too runny. But I still like them. I think they're a nice shape. Brilliant for beginners that's not so good at shaping. I'm really good at shaping on my flexi hand. But on my own hands, yeah, I'm really bad at it. I need to practice more. Anyway, guys, that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up. I'll decorate these in my next video, so keep your eye out for that. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already. And hopefully, I'll see you all back in my next one. Take care. Bye.